Can I go a whole review without saying anything? That would be fantastic if I just didn't have to talk about that game. Just give me a sec. I'm just trying to load up the stats. Not that the stats actually mean a whole lot after that. If we had have won, it would have been good to talk about some good players, but 36 points up, looking good, proud of the boys, thinking, wow, Ratton's actually done it. He's gotten the best out of a team that's hit hard with injury and not got the best 22 out there. And, well, that second half, where do you even begin? I don't know. I honestly can't put my finger on what exactly went wrong. In the first half, the tackling was through the fucking roof, guys. Our forward half pressure, I think we had 22 tackles in the first 3 quarters in our forward line. And then to let a team like Adelaide come back after not only they were goalless in the first term, they were scoreless. And then scoreless for about 15 minutes of the second term. They did that all in the second half. What happened? Why couldn't we put players back? What happened? Did we put so much effort into that first half that we ran out of gas? Is that genuinely what happened? That's not good enough. For a team, for a professional football team to be 6 goals up, playing a team that is, Kane Corns reckons is a joke. I don't know where to start. That to me is, I was thinking at half time, okay, our season's on the edge here. We get a bit of percentage. I was genuinely thinking percentage, guys. And this is Saints footy. This is Saints footy to a T. They give you your heart and then they just rip it straight back out. In the worst possible way. Lose in the last minute. Now, I'm sure that all of you agree with me and you understand the exact feeling I'm getting out of this. This happens too much to our club. This reminds me of the Fremantle game last year. But the difference was, last year we had the rest of the season to fight for. Now, we're 5-8. I thought, based on the Sydney and Adelaide games, that we could have gone into the break 7-5. To be 5-8 now, whatever we are, we would have to hope that every team in front of us fucks up for the rest of the year to have any chance. And that's me being my ultimate optimistic levels. But right now, there's no room for optimism after that. There's absolutely no room for optimism after that. Jack Steele's the one again that just did everything we could have hoped. 34 disposals, 12 tackles. Brad Crouch, 36 disposals, 6 tackles. At the rock bottom, Nick Coffield 5, Bytel 4, but he came on. Hunter Clark had 8 and was off after the second term. Josh Battle 6. In a game where your season's on the line, boys, that's not good enough. And you can't tell me that they were spent, that they couldn't fight for their season. You bust your gut and you work it out. And, the umpiring didn't help us in the last quarter. The umpiring didn't help us. I know that. They got a lot of free kicks, but some of them were there, and it doesn't matter at the end of the day. We were 6 goals up. You never lose being 6 goals up. It's... Honestly, guys, it's just something that you can't even describe. This is a feeling. No, I know that other fans say, "Oh, Jay, come on, every team loses." No, if you follow another club, you don't get losses like that. Saints fans get losses like that. That's why we are resilient. That's why we are tough, because we cop this shit more frequently than any other supporter base in the competition. And yeah, I just saw a comment there. I'm not entirely sure who it was from. Cameron, time for another drink, mate. I had 1 glass and I thought, okay, I'll order some hot jam donuts, celebrate a good win, but of course, put that on hold. I was enjoying a good night, nice and relaxing, and then this happens and honestly, the final siren was kind of speechless. I didn't feel anything. Now it's just kind of all there because I could see everyone's comments and everyone kind of feels the same way that I'm feeling, which is deeply frustrated, deeply just disappointed, broken. Last week hurt, but we could see that they were trying. And I mean, this week for 3 quarters, we were busting our gut. You know, men down, Hunter Clark goes down. But Adelaide just kept around. Even when they were down, they had passages where they looked good, and we had chances in the third and the fourth to ice the game. And, you know, Jack Loney had a few chances in the third quarter and stuffed him. Absolutely stuffed him. Again, we show no ruthlessness in front of goal. No, none whatsoever. We were good getting 36 to 35 to 0 up. From that point on, complacency kicked in. From that point on, we thought, well, we're already on the plane back to Melbourne or back to our hotels mentally. Good teams see that and go, that's not good enough. Let's get more. Let's get some blood here. Let's rip it into them. Let's get some percentage. No, let's go back into our shells. Let Adelaide get the next 10 clearances. They kicked the last 7 goals of the game, Adelaide. We didn't kick a goal for the last hour of football. So whatever we did to keep them goalless, they kept us goalless longer than we did. And we got 5 goals up. They returned that with a vengeance. So now, and the worst part is, we always seem to put up these sort of performances in just before a bye. So now we've got to sit on this for 2 weeks. We're going to have to think of some positives. Hopefully Rowan Marshall and Zach Jones come back. It's all that stuff. And nothing really about, oh, what can we do for the rest of the season? Because really the rest of the season's nothing now, the way we're going. You know, even if we get a good run on, it all banked on getting wins this week and maybe last week. And we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. And did we want it is the question. Did everyone on that field want the win? You know, the highlights for me, if I'm going to, you know, I've got to be balanced with this. For the most part of the game, we were okay. It was really the second half of the third term and the whole fourth term where we just fell away massively. We just turned off. But if I'm going to think of positives, again, it's Jack Steele. Again, it's Brad Crouch. I thought Jack Higgins' 24 disposals was great, but didn't kick goals. Sinclair, I thought, was very good early. Max King looked like he wanted the ball and had that kind of swagger about him, which was good. Billings cruised and didn't do enough for me. I'm going through everyone right now. Ben Long, I thought he actually showed signs of the 2020 Ben Long and not the 2021 headless chook Ben Long, which was good. Burns showed some signs again and kicked a goal. Paul Hunter just tried his best and that wasn't great. Josh Battle, 6 disposals. That's the one that I don't understand. What are we doing to this guy? He was destined to be a good forward or a good back, and he's neither right now. We don't know what he is or where he's supposed to play. And Nick Coffield, 5 disposals? Nick Coffield, 5 disposals. I know he played predominantly forward and then he went back towards the end of the game to try and help, but that wasn't enough. And at the end of the day, Adelaide wanted it more, and that was it. This was the worst possible way to really end our season. And I know all of you feel that way, and good on you for even watching this. I know so many people would have turned off the TV the second they kicked the goal and gone to bed or gone out for a drink or whatever. But I appreciate everyone. There's over 1,000 of you right now. I can't believe that. Over 1,000 of you watching this stream. So you all probably feel the same way. You're all venting, and I can see them all in the comments. I don't know how many of these comments I'm going to go through because I know they're all going to be the same, but I appreciate every single one of you tuning in and sharing your emotions with me. Makes me feel a bit better that we're not all going through this alone. We go through this together, and hopefully at some bloody point in time, our club can repay this faith and put on a good show and get some good footy going so we can come on here and talk about some positives, you know? But it's almost a weird thing, like, you just thought at 6 goals up, we could lose this. We could lose this. We've done it before. Why wouldn't we do it again? They kick a couple in a row. Before you know it, they're 5 points down, and they're having shot after shot after shot after, you know, on goal. And And it was a matter of time. That's the sad part. The last quarter, I looked at even the way Dougal Howard was kicking in. And this could be because we were tired, but I don't see that as an excuse. I know it was humid, but it was for Adelaide too, and they finished the game strong. But if you look at the kick-ins, for instance, watch the replay if you want to. I mean, dare you to watch the replay, but we all huddled in the one area. There was so much space to the right-hand side. And all it took was maybe Brad Hill pushing that side and spreading, getting away from the congestion, getting the ball forward. There was so much more we could have done with our clearances out of the defensive 50 that we just took the easy kick, and the easy kick actually suited Adelaide. It turned the ball over quicker, and that meant they got it back in faster, which meant they got easy goals, and they got easy shots on goal. They missed a lot. They could have easily had the game done halfway through the last quarter. We were lucky it took until the end there to get a goal, but we were never looking like winning that game in the last quarter, even when we were up by 15. We looked like we were just defending. And when we do that, come on guys, we know. When we defend constantly in games this season, what happens? We invite pressure on ourselves and we cough the ball up until the opposition eventually gets a run of goals. That happened against Melbourne, that happened against Port, it happens every other week, you know? So it's devastating. It's really upsetting, but that's enough of my emotions. Let's go through some of your comments. I'll scroll through some now, and let's see what you're all feeling. I'm gonna try and scroll all the way to the top, but there's a lot of comments. I'm gonna start halfway. Chris says, empty shell of a team, no guts, skill, heart, just need to move on. That's from Chris. Caleb says, it's better not to invest, guys. No goal in more than an hour is pathetic. Zach says, I'm done. All the do-gooders can say what they want, but there is nothing positive about this club anymore. Pathetic. Tom says, are we actually surprised, though? We love blowing big leads. Mate, like I said, I thought at halftime, great, we're on top, but I would not be surprised if we cough up the lead. I didn't think we'd lose, but I thought, well, we won't blow them out of the water. It looked like, any other good team would beat them by 10, 15 goals the way it was going. But I knew, well, we'll probably win this, but we'll win it by about 20. We won't increase the lead like we should. But I didn't think we'd lose. Now to have that reality, it's embarrassing. That's the best way to describe it. Damien says, I'm not hanging around for this shit. We coached Adelaide the win. Fuck this shit. Sorry for the language, guys, but I'm going to read them as they are. Ben says, trying to defend only a goal up with half a quarter to go. So disappointing. Also, umpiring has gone backwards yet again this season. Farron says, absolute joke. What is going on with us? We are unwatchable at the moment. I'm sitting here in tears. I honestly can't believe this. That's from Mitchell. Geordie says, we have the most insipid ticker of any side by a mile. Why is that? Why do we have the most insipid ticker? You'd think with a team that knows they can't take the foot off the gas, that they wouldn't take the foot off the gas. We're not good enough to cruise to a win. We know that. We can't do that against any team. We rarely do that against shit teams. We're not going to do it against a team that's on top. But to think that in the last quarter, we basically rolled over. If some people comment and tell me, Jake, well, we tried and, we just weren't good enough. Nah, we say that excuse every week. This was a time where we needed to finally buck the trend and say, you know what, for our supporters that are there watching us, from our supporters that are watching it from home in stupid lockdown in Melbourne, this is for you. But again, it was the opposite. It was too hard. We couldn't execute. We just did the bare minimum. We were just bombing it out of the D50. We weren't working as a team. We got sucked into the contest without wanting to spread. It was just so much wrong with that last quarter. And you could basically, the game in a nutshell was the last quarter. We didn't need to, don't watch the first three quarters because that's meaningless now after what we served up when the heat was on. And the heat got turned on in the last quarter and we cracked. And I've said that before and I'll say it again. When teams actually throw pressure at us, we struggle. The first quarter and a half, Adelaide didn't give us anything and we made the most of it. And that was great that we did. But when the pressure came on, we stopped to a halt. Lisa says Sinclair went missing second half, so they obviously tagged him. No excuses, bloody hopeless. Sack them all, starting from the coach. That's Peter. Yeah, come on. I don't think you're not going to sack Brett Ratton because of this. If this continues for the rest of the season, I think he's got another year in his contract. That's when you do a bit of a review. But I don't think at any point this season Brett Ratton will get sacked unless we lose the next 10 games by 100 plus. Robert says, how can you say anything good about this club? It's bullshit, fucking hopeless. I know it's a struggle. Tom says, too many blokes missing, easy goals. Loney, Higgins, Butler. Yeah, I wouldn't blame it on the goal kicking this week. Last week was different. This week it was just more our mentality in the last quarter. What we were doing. We just succumbed to the pressure. We invited it. That's the worst thing. We put up the white flag and said, nah, this is too much. If we get over the line, we'll be happy. But, feel free to take the lead, Adelaide. And Adelaide obliged. They took the lead. And now they might be close to near, above us on the ladder. I don't know how many wins they've got, but they wouldn't be far off the way they're going, which is pretty damning to think that. Daniel says, is it time to look at the coaching moves being made? Everyone behind the ball for most of the last quarter. I've said that all year. Great question, Daniel. I wouldn't say that it's to do with Ratton. It's everyone under him. And a lot of them were under Alan Richardson. So the fact that Ratton's come in, he's had 18 months with these guys. Clearly it worked for a season, but maybe it would have been a bit lucky, some say. The second season's definitely not worked. There needs to be a review of all of those coaches. What are their KPIs? What is their goal? First of all, Jared Roughhead. Forward lines are shambles, goal kicking shocking. What are you bringing to the table? Aaron Hamill, you're the backline coach. You were a forward. That doesn't make sense. Get Lenny Hayes in to be the midfield coach. There's so many other ways we could go about it. And maybe these losses are just going to open the door for those conversations. But right now, we're going to be the laughing stock for another week. Last week, it was Jack Higgins that was the laughing stock on his own. And this week, it's the entire club. So it doesn't get any better for us Saints fans. We're going to cop it all week. And we can't really back it up with any sort of argument because it is what it is. We were 6 goals up against an average team and we lost. And that's our season. So that's pretty much everything you need to tell someone. If they ask about the game, just say, well, don't even bother. Lewis says, I think it's time we get a new strength and conditioning coach. We can't outrun games anymore. Just pour a scotch and chill. This club stresses me out. Mate, honestly, after I put up this review, I might actually pop a nice glass of white wine, sit around with the girlfriend, have some dessert or something, play some PlayStation maybe, take my mind off the game because, there's no good that can come from thinking of a performance like that. That was, if you thought of, before the game, if you said, hey, Jake, what's a hypothetical of, the worst case scenario? I would have said, well, we're winning by a lot and then we lose in the last minute. And that's exactly what happened. So this was the worst case scenario. This would have been worse. This is worse than getting done from start to finish. Because we were up for over 100 minutes of the game and we couldn't hold on. And that happens too often in St Kilda, at the St Kilda Football Club. We don't know how to run out games and we don't know how to put the foot down when we need to. Look at the positive. We're going to get a decent draft pick. That's from Blair. Fair point. Let's throw that on to Josh Kelly or maybe get Ben King across. Tom says umpires were great until the last quarter. Very fair and down the middle. Yeah, I don't know about that. I thought they were pretty average the whole day, but average to both teams. So fair call there. I'm not blaming the umpires for whoever thinks that. Tanya says, for personal reasons, after watching this game, I'm going to respectfully pass away. That's the best way to not deal with Saints footy. And that's how we all feel. Honestly, we just don't want to have to feel that way ever again. Accuracy costing us once again. Is that the case? What did we kick? 8-12, but so did Adelaide. Adelaide kicked 9-12, so you can't really blame that. They had as many chances as us to ice the game at the end. Luke says, honestly, mate, I'll chuck a jumper on and I'll have a crack because the pretenders right now with the jumpers on are insipid. Yeah, well, I posted during the week on my Instagram highlights of me in a grand final for South Yarra Footy Club. I thought I would have scrubbed up all right tonight. It was a dewy surface, ground ball, perfect for a smalls. Take out Loney, put Batoni in, and you might get a few goals there. Who knows? Time for another drink. That's from Cam. Not watching any Saints games for the rest of the season. That's from Brogan. We're a bottom 3 team. We have too many passengers again. Is it passengers or is it on-field leadership? Because in the first half we looked good. We did. Everyone was pulling their weight. And the second half, what did Jack Steele say in the last 10 minutes to say, boys, come on. Everything's against us right now. Let's lift. Let's do this. You, mate, you get on him, tag him, don't let him go. Backman, switch on. This is bullshit. Is he going to do that? Or is he just going to be happy getting 34 and 12 tackles again for his own personal, confidence? Or is he, would he rather not play well personally and get a win or play well and lose? Steele's very much an introvert, and we all know that, and the club knows that. But it's in times like this, are we missing a voice? Tim Membry would have gone back late in that game and saved us. We know that. But he wasn't there today, so who was the next player to do that? Did Max King go back? I didn't see that. Comments if he did, but that's the sort of leadership on field that gets you wins when you're down, when you're copying it in the last quarter, when you've been up all day and you're tired and you don't think you can go much longer. Go back and just punch the ball out. There's so much more we could have done in the last 10 minutes to win the game, and I know the media is going to rip it to shreds, but Adelaide deservedly got the win. They fought, they kept chasing, they kept tackling, and they got the reward because they kept creating chances. And I can't remember maybe one or two chances that the ball was even in our forward 50 in the last quarter. The inside 50 count in the last quarter would have been over 20 to 3 or 4. It was embarrassing. They just killed us. And that really showed where we're at as a team. The finals are on the line. We're up by 15 points. And we let it slip. That really shows it. So, not much more to say. Adam says, shut the doors, we're a rabble. I'm not giving these plebs any more of my hard-earned cash. Fair call, mate. Everyone's, everyone can do what they want. You can, say that you're going to not be a member. You can say you're not going to turn up to games. It's completely up to you. I'm going to keep persisting, obviously. After the bye at the MCG, Richmond, Collingwood, I think we've got, if we can go, they're going to be 2 massive games. They might be meaningless to some people, but for me, every game is a game where if we don't make finals this year, we can still create momentum. We can still change our fortunes mid-season. Just because finals may be off the radar for a lot of people, and it may be realistically off the radar after results, for the rest of the round and see where we sit on the ladder, it doesn't mean we can't have a win, beat a Richmond or something, and just get some confidence, tweak something, and create a basis that we can go into 2022 with, That's the way we all need to look at the season, because if we don't and we just think, well, we're not going to make finals, I'm not going to watch games, then it's not going to be a fun season. And to be fair, it hasn't been a fun season to begin with, so we're kind of used to that feeling. This one's from Joel, sorry. Honestly, Adelaide threw the ball and got away with murder in the final quarter. The AFL and the umpires wanted us to lose. Well, everyone's going to say that, but honestly, we could have just... They can want us to lose, but the players could just want to win. I would throw that back at you, Joel. The players didn't look like they wanted to win in that last quarter. They wanted to save the game, and that was never going to happen. Battle is too nice. What the fuck is our team structure? That's from Charlie. Shit game plan last year. We used the corridor. That's from Johnny. Ali says, I couldn't do this after a game. You're a better man than me. Yeah, look, honestly, some people would say I'm a better supporter than most because I rock up and do this. Some people will say, mate, you are absolutely crazy. Why do you waste your time on this? And to that I say, well, for this exact reason that I can talk and get it off my chest, and I'm not talking my girlfriend's ear, down after the game, complaining and whinging, because she'll just say, just shut up. It's happened. Move on. Whereas with you guys, it's kind of just a venting session. We can get all the emotions out and then hopefully have a good Sunday and forget about the game and then have a bye and have a weekend away from football and chill with your family and friends if you can and recoup and hopefully go harder in the second half of the year when we can hopefully get back to the grounds. Paul says, it's just frustrating now. Once again, we blew it. Mate, I know. Everyone's feeling the same way. Julie says, Jack Steele is the only player worth a place in this team. He must be regretting his decision to come to the Saints. yeah, I say that, but at the same time, I question his leadership in the last quarter. I know he's very much a, lead by example sort of player as opposed to lead by words, but why can't you be both? Why can't you, he's seen this team cough up leads too often. Why, you'd think that someone, maybe not Steele, but someone else could have said something, but no one did, and the result is what we deserved in the end because we weren't willing to change the narrative. That's what most of us would think. Drop us to the VFL if we can win a game there. No excuses, just pathetic, that is all. That's from Luke. This one's from Marine. To be honest, there is no more excuses anymore. We, as supporters, are sick of excuses, lost for words. Fair call. And honestly, I'm going to leave it there, guys, because these comments are just going to go on and on and on, and rightly so. And I'm sure they will long after I finish the video, but that is that. We were 36 points up, 35-0 to be exact, and we lose. So on that note, and Maureen summed it up perfectly, there are no more excuses. We as supporters are lost for words, and I'm honestly lost for breath and lost for words myself. So I'm going to go and hopefully tune out for the next hour or two and relax. You guys do the same. Take care of yourselves. It's a shocking result. I hope the club really think about this, and this is different to the other results this year. We got pumped and we had honesty sessions and we had all these sort of, nice little clips on social media of the club coming out and making us feel all good, and they're all trying really hard to turn the fortunes around for the club. But when shit like that happens, the fans can only accept those sort of excuses so often in a year, and it's happened too often this year. So I'm going to be very interested to see what the club say and what Brett Ratton says in the presser after the game. But I'll leave it there, guys. Appreciate all of you watching, commenting, sharing, sending stars. That's unreal. The podcast on Tuesday is going to be pretty mundane, but we'll get it done, and we'll bring it out on Tuesday night for everyone to listen to. But until then, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. We'll keep the content running, over the next week, over the bye, maybe minimally because of the result and how negative it's going to be across the Saints channels. But yeah, that is it. Appreciate everyone watching and watching me vent, and maybe you find it funny, maybe you understand exactly where I'm feeling, but hopefully the players feel shit and something happens, because there's only so much we can take, and this is the final straw. So until my next video, guys, take care, enjoy your weekend, and I don't know why I'm saying this, but go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.